This is a video on trying to get my light to turn on when I open my door of my 2500 GMC 05, and also my radio to turn off. It done a lot of research on the internet, and it seems to boil down to this latch right there. Now I've sprayed it with WD-40 as suggested, and sometimes it works intermittently, but now I'm going to take apart off the door panel and take apart my latch. So I'll spare you all the steps in taking this off. I'll show you some key steps, but I want to talk a little bit more when I get this latch all taken apart and where the problem actually lies. There's lots of videos on the internet on how to take off the panel, so I won't spare you with that. So I'll remove the panel and all the different sections to it, and then I'll get down to how to take out your latch the easiest way. Okay, now that I've got the door panel off, I only undid the bottom light switch down here for the bottom of the door panel, and I left everything else all together, and I just turned the panel upside the other way and hooked over my door. Now you can take all of those electrical parts off if you like. They just clip off really easily, but I decided to leave mine on. So now I'm going to take off the handle because I found this is the best way. Remove that nut. It's a 10 mil bolt, and then go ahead and remove the door handle latch wire right in the middle. Now as another video showed you, these things don't pull straight out. Try not to take them out. You got to slide this off this way, and now it can pull out. So if you try and pull out without sliding this off, you'll for sure break them. So slide that out, and that'll come out. And go ahead and take your bolt out and slide your whole assembly out, and it'll come off in one piece. So I undid the bolt, and I undid the clip, and that'll slide right out, and you'll be able to take the handle right off. Now, peel back the plastic just about where the handle is. That's all you need to do. You don't have to take the whole thing off, and then we can get into the guts of the latch and how to take the latch out. When you take off this rod, the lock rod, be sure that you don't put too much pressure on those little clips because they will break. So very carefully pop them off. Now there are two other rods that you need to disconnect. One is in this hole right there. It's hard to see. It's access through that hole. It's the same kind of clip as the handle. So you got to pop that red part off, and then you got to pull that rod out of the hole. Underneath there's another clip right there in the yellow that you pull towards you, and that rod will come out of that yellow clip. So there's a little latch on the very back. You just push that and open it right up like a sandwich, and that rod will come out of the latch. And that's connected to your latch in there. Be very careful that you don't pull it off too fast because you might break that yellow clip. So once those clips are opened up, if I can get into the yellow one here, I'll show you. That's opened up. And that clip up here, if I can get into the light a little bit better, there we go. That clip there, I popped that red clip off to the right, and then I pulled the rod out of that hole. So that's disconnected now. That goes to the latch to your door. Now, once those are out, you need to take this wire piece, if I can find it right there, and that will all come out of that little hole right there, and that'll disconnect this wire section when you are pulling off your latch. So you got to take that out as well. So once all the clips are removed, I can now disassemble my latch. You need 3 torque screws, number T30 torques, and those will remove. Be very careful that you don't strip them as you're removing them. And then I'll show you how to take the whole assembly out. So here's all the clips removed, and the assembly should now, and the bolts removed on the end, or the screws. So that whole assembly will now come right out. So you should be able to take that whole piece right out of here. Okay, fish your way out and it'll come out nicely once all those things are unattached. So as you can see, I'm taking the whole piece right out. Now I've got to disconnect that blue harness, this black harness or gray harness, and this other blue. Now incidentally, this blue harness is the one that controls the light in the interior as well as the radio turning on and off. So that's the one we're going to be looking at later on. And I'll show you where the gear system is. Right around this other side that we're going to pay attention to. So unclick those, they come off very easily, and pull your whole assembly out and put it on the bench. Now that I've removed it, I've put it onto my bench, and for easier access I'm going to take this rod out and that rod out. But I'm going to mark them with a pen first to make sure I know exactly which way they go back, because they both have ends that look similar. So I'm going to mark them, and I'm going to pop them out. Now that the assembly is on your bench, this is the latch part, and you notice that if you see it very carefully there's a cog, a nylon cog that spins right there. That's the one that you need to grease up, because that controls the switch for the lights that's connected to this. So what I did is I removed those screws right here, here, and here, and I'm going to clean this whole assembly up. I'm going to take the electrical part away from it. I'm going to clean all of this assembly with some cleaner, and then I'm going to lubricate it again, and I'm going to lubricate in the cog. There's a pin right here that this cog rolls on, and it's connected to the, it's tough to see, connected to the switch, or connected to the latch right there. I'll remove the latch back again. That latch right there, as you can see, moves that cog right in there, and that's what has to get lubricated. This whole section has to run freely in there in order for that switch to go on and off, for your lights to turn on when you open the door, and your radio to turn off when you open the door. So we'll see what we can do here, and I'll let you know. So what I've done here is I've removed those two torque screws, and I've pulled the electrical part of the assembly away, and you can see the cogs that I'm talking about. Now this has to be lubricated very well. So I cleaned everything up. Now that I had the electrical part off, cleaned all that up with carb cleaner and blew it all out, and then reinserted some lithium grease in this one here. Put some lithium grease in here. So this moves nice and freely now, and that marries with the cogs from the actual switch itself, or the door latch itself. So once those are all together and it's all greased nicely, it should work. And that was what the problem is, I'm hoping. So what I've done as a test, I plugged the green one back in that controls the cogs, which controls the light, and I've switched the switch to off, so it acts like the door is closed. So I push that switch all the way back in, and as you can see, the light is not on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, underneath here, I'm going to open the door, if I can, with one hand. And I'll let you look at the light as I'm opening it. There it is right there. So I just opened it and the light came back on. Okay, so it is now in working order. So now you all have to do is put it back together, and just pay attention when you're putting it all back together. So short and sweet, but but that's how you fix that light when you open the door and the light does not come on, and also the radio. So they're both fixed now. Thanks for watching. So now, once the light is working now, I've plugged the radio one back in, which is this one right there, and I'm going to test that one too. So now that the cog is all working, I'm going to test that. So I'm just going to turn the truck on. First off, I'm going to close my door, which I locked down the lock, so I close the lock to close. I'll turn my truck on and turn it off, pull the key out, and then I'll unlock this to show you what's going on. So I'll turn the truck on. So the truck now is turned on. I'm going to turn it off, pull the key, now go ahead and open my switch, and you can see as it popped back up, sorry for the video, popped back up again, the radio turned off. Okay, so everything's working now. So I'm going to button it all back up, and we'll see how it goes from there. Thanks for watching. So as you can see, the door's all buttoned up. Interior lights are on. I'm going to shut the door and watch them go out, and then I'm going to open the door again. Door's shut. I believe it's set for 15 seconds. So after those interior lights go off, I'm going to open the door up again, and we should see the lights come back on again. And it's the same with the radio. There's the lights off, then I'll open the door, and there's the lights back on again. So everything worked. So hopefully that helps. It helped me looking at a few different videos, but once I got it apart, I could understand how that mechanism works. And yeah, if you clean it well and put it all back together properly, it should work just great. No need to buy a new latch. Good luck. Hope it helps.